What would happen to human society if the Earth's power went out for a year in a row? At the moment of a blackout, all the lights in the city would go out. All equipment that relies on electricity will stop working, and the whole world will be plunged into darkness. And at the same time, the internet will disappear. You won't be able to reach your loved ones on the other end of your cell phone. When the Earth's power goes out for an hour, most people don't realize the seriousness of the situation. They think it's just a minor blackout, and really on their cell phones remaining power to get them through the dark night, and look forward to tomorrow. When the power goes out for a day, most people's cell phones are turned off automatically because they can't be recharged. The entire water supply system will be paralyzed as the equipment to maintain. The water pressure stops functioning due to the loss of power. Water faucets, water heaters, air conditioners, TVs, washing machines, etc. all become useless. Meanwhile, the streets are a mess. Cars running out of fuel were parked on the roads. All the stores were forced to shut down. The only blessing is that when you lie in bed at night, frustrated, you look up and see a starry sky and a galaxy that you haven't seen in a long time. When the Earth's power goes out for a week, all the food in your refrigerator rots and spoils. All the food in the supermarkets and malls was swept away. More than 7 billion people around the world are facing severe food shortages. There may be a few artificial generators to support a few people, but for how long? When the Earth's power went out for a month, mankind finally realized the gravity of the situation. The food in the city became less and less. In order to survive, the people living in the cities are constantly starting conflicts. Waste and garbage are everywhere. All the rivers were polluted. The streets and alleys were filled with a pungent odor. By now, the social system of mankind had begun to collapse. Money and status are no longer important. Survival became the #1 problem for everyone. After 3 months of power outages, the population declined dramatically due to lack of resources. Those who remain begin to try to find food in the wild. Meanwhile, without the constant cooling of cold water, more than 400 nuclear reactors around the world begin to erupt and leak one after another. Mankind is facing a global catastrophe of unprecedented proportions. By the time the planet has lost power for 6 months, the population has plummeted by 50%. All the cities have lost all traces of human life. The streets have been turned back into wilderness. Wildlife is returning and taking over. Humans are left to fish and grow crops to maintain their primitive way of life. And in the process, a lot of people die who can't adapt to this life. When the power goes out for a year, only about 20% of the population remains. Human civilization had regressed by thousands of years. Those who survived have each acquired their own survival skills and are attempting to rebuild a new civilization. That 1 year of blackout was enough to wipe out modern human civilization. So you can see how important electricity is to mankind. But perhaps you don't realize that for every 100 kilowatts of electricity consumed, 78.5 kilograms of carbon are emitted. Nowadays, the climate change caused by excessive carbon dioxide emission has threatened the survival of human beings on Earth. So for the sake of our future generations and the future of mankind, let's start saving electricity and protect the only home we live in,